Will South Africans be seeing Starlink services available in their home country? We shall see. Long blocked by the ANC's blatantly racist legislation, is Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet service finally legally coming to the soil of his birth? A year ago, News 24's William Brederode said South Africans faced a long wait for the service to arrive in the country. A major stumbling block was and remains the ANC's preferential apartheid-like legislation that forces Musk to give away his equity based on race.
Welcome back once again. This is Chris Report, and he assured me that St. Simon's down in Boulders. Folks, this is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa.
Musk's entry into South Africa hit regulatory barriers involving the country's local broad-based black economic empowerment policy. The Independent Communications Authority of South Africa, known as ICASA, demands license applicants must be 30% owned by historically disadvantaged groups to be considered for an operating license in the country. Nothing to do with their capability to deliver communications or the quality of the service, but simply giving away equity to someone based on their skin pigmentation. In other words, Elon Musk must divest himself of nearly one-third of any operations in South Africa to a group based solely on skin pigmentation. Does that even seem remotely reasonable or a good business proposition? Why would anybody put foreign direct investment in a racist country like that? As a consequence, despite the intense interest from Musk in bringing Starlink to South Africa, he grew up in South Africa, Starlink has never even bothered to apply for a local license, knowing that it would be disapproved. But all that changed a few months ago in September 2024, when after seeing Elon Musk move from the left of the political spectrum to the center and then right into Donald Trump's orbit, the ever-greedy opportunist Cyril Ramaphosa, Mynheer Palapala, met with Elon Musk. Now, little news emerged from that meeting until Bloomberg and Fortune began to spill the beans this past week. It seems the pot-smoking, air-producing genius entrepreneur is still interested in the South African market for Starlink. Bloomberg and Fortune, as well as numerous other sites, are reporting that Musk may build a battery factory in South Africa in exchange for easing the racist rules on equity. Musk has reportedly asked Ramaphosa for leniency in meeting requirements under this policy so that Starlink could be deployed in his home country, and in exchange, Musk's companies could invest in South Africa. One such example to Bloomberg magazine by an unnamed source was a battery production facility for Tesla. Tesla's could use this battery plant to increase the reach of its energy storage products, namely the Megapack, Powerwall, and even its solar products. It can also use any overcapacity to aid in cell production for the automotive area of its business. Now, if true, there could be invaluable benefits for South Africa, provided the deals are above board and exempt from South Africa's institutional racism constraints. I want you to come home and invest here, said President Ramaphosa, referring to a conversation he had with Musk back in September. The two reportedly then discussed potential foreign direct investment opportunities, such as the battery plant. In August, Starlink sent illegal customers in South Africa an email informing them that their services will be terminated by the end of 2024. The email emphasized that using Starlink kits outside the designated areas is against their terms. And what is this all about? Well, hundreds of frustrated customers in South Africa have been purchasing devices in other African countries and accessing the service back home in South Africa. I mean, if you use it in Namibia or Zimbabwe, the footprint of the satellites is right there over South Africa. But the device is registered elsewhere in Africa, not in South Africa. And that violates their terms. So they told them they'd shut their service off at the end of the year. As late as September 2024, Elon Musk was tweeting that Starlink was still waiting on approval to operate in South Africa. However, in early October, after his meeting with Ramaphosa, reports began to emerge that the Minister of Communications, Sally Malatsi, wants to change law requiring foreign companies to give away their equity to operate in South Africa, a clear nod to Starlink, and strangely, shortly after Musk met with Ramaphosa. It's my intention to issue a policy direction to the Independent Communications Authority of South Africa in terms of Section 3, Paragraph 2 of the Electronic Communications Act to clarify the position on the recognition of equity equivalent programs for urgent consideration. This is part of an initiative to significantly expand access to broadband connectivity to poor South Africans and people living in remote parts of the country, said the minister. Now, initially, many simply dismissed this as wishful thinking by Democratic Alliance politician looking for attention inside the government of national unity. But now, it seems there's more going on than the public can see.
What you talking about, Willis?
According to a recent Fortune magazine article, Starlink future in Mzansi might not be so far off, as Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, is reportedly in talks with Ramaphosa since September to bring Starlink to the country, with Tesla possibly joining the mix. Now, these developments might signal good news for South African consumers, especially those in remote areas or in farms, often unable to get reliable, quality broadband internet service, which Starlink can deliver, albeit at a cost. However, this also raises questions that we need to consider. Why is it that connected uber wealthy get to invest in South Africa without the racist rules applying to them? I mean, if I want to inject foreign direct investment in South Africa, I'm required by law to give away part of my company. Why? Why does the ANC continue with its failed racist macroeconomic agenda? There's no data supporting their immoral, broad-based economic empowerment patronage schemes doing anything to lift the poor out of poverty or to shift ownership of successful enterprises. All they've done is create a small coterie of cadres who are nouveau riche. They've not lifted the poor, and they've hampered economic development. Is Elon Musk the brilliant entrepreneur the left once considered him, whom the MAGA movement embraced, and whom many South Africans believe is a savior and free speech advocate? Well, the truth is, Musk is all those things that endeared him to the left, making electric vehicles which satisfy the Church of Climate Change's short-sighted goals. He's a free speech advocate. Conservatives assumed when he has organized the purchase of Twitter, though only free speech if he likes your content. Just ask Laura Loomer. And he's just like Jack Dorsey in that respect. And he is a savior of sorts for South Africa, only not just for hungry internet consumers, but also for ANC cadres too. Needless to say, a complicated man. Musk is a visionary, but one laser focused on generating wealth, bending things to his will, and getting what he wants, which he usually does. Will South Africans get Starlink? Probably, and likely before the year's end, provided Elon Musk does not fall out of Trump's orbit. Ramaphosa and the ANC covet money to dole out patronage to ensure the survival of the collapsing political party and for self-enrichment, as well as the placement of Musk near and access to Donald Trump. Ramaphosa is arrogant and disconnected from South Africans, but he knows a good grift when he sees one coming his way. What say you, South Africa? Happy New Year.